Hello, fellow Starseeds. So it's been just a minute since my last podcast, but I decided to do another one on universal beings. But this is like more specific to starseeds, children that have been born that have a specific mission in this life and different periods when they're being born and what those missions are. So they have starseed lineage, a lot of universal DNA. You'll see as I start to talk about this, the differences between the three. So, we're going to talk about Avalon, Indigo, and Golden children today. And I'm going to start with with Indigo children because I am an Indigo child. Indigo children started to be born in the 1970s, and we are a product of those flower power children of the first age of Aquarius. And just in case nobody is aware, we are in the new age of Aquarius. So if you think back to the 60s and all the turbulence that went on and had to happen in order to have change, we are in a very turbulent time right now in America, right? So be ready for it because we want things to be peaceful, and as a collective consciousness we can achieve that. And I've talked in other podcasts how you can connect to the collective consciousness even if you've never met these other people in your entire life. It's like a giant spider web and everybody's connected within it. So, first ones I'm going to talk about is Indigo children. And as always, I have a lot of notes. And so my eyes might be going do, 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 do. But I have a lot of notes because I don't want to forget to say something. So, what's an Indigo child? Well, like I said, we started to be born in the 1970s, and it's was a new generation of individuals with like heightened spiritual awareness, unique traits, distinctive auras. So we often have auras that are indigo in shades. That's where the name comes from. Um, and so normal auric fields, you can see like a rainbow of colors. You can see other colors in us, but we always have those indigo colors within us. And besides that, that's where we got the name from. But we were gifted children, like on a clear mission to change and shift reality. So we came from that 1960s generation. And so beyond like psychic gifts, which we all have, um, we're like highly driven, very creative. We have perceptions that see through everything. Um, we don't conform to societal norms. Um, we're basically here to shake up the old world system and like pave the way for the future generations. So, like, characteristics of us are highly sensitive, independent, very strong willed, um, definitely sound rebellious and misunderstood. And so we're just here to shake things up and change the status quo. We do not like the system. We do not like the man. We know all about the man and government and what it's done, and it frankly it pisses us all off. So you can think of us like very old souls. We've had a lot of lives throughout the universe, and a lot of us have lived a lot of past earthly lives as well. We're very independent, very proud, and like we can waver sometimes between like low self-esteem and then highly confident, don't get in our way, and we look for just longer, deeper, lasting friendships and relationships. So, like, for instance, I am not a dater. I don't like dating. I'm like, just bring me my person and cool. And my friendship circle is definitely smaller. I don't care to have a massive group of friends. It just doesn't interest me at all. I want those real friendships that last forever. Um, and we easily bond with plants and animals. So a lot of us are animal whisperers, plant whisperers, and I am definitely an animal whisperer. I can call all kinds of animals to me on any given day. So we have a lot of empathy. I am a very deep empath. So lots of empathy and feeling all the energies around you and feeling what other people go through. So you have to learn to put up blockers real quick in life, or it just kind of takes you out. We're natural leaders. We don't like to be led. We are not sheep. We like to be the leaders. Um, we're innovative thinkers. We think outside the box. We have a heightened perception of everything around us. Very independent spirits, resilient, have optimism, very connected to nature, highly connected to nature. Um, we always want the truth, and like no matter what that is, we want the truth. We have a visionary mindset. Um, we have to be very authentic. We have to be ourselves, and we have a deep sense of purpose. Um, we have like unwavering integrity. It means a lot to us. Not really what people think about us because it's more like if you don't like me, then okay, bye. But we do want people to know that we can be counted on and we can be trusted and we can be that firm person and live up to what we say we're going to do. Adaptability, we like to float between things as well. So we have a lot of adaptability. We don't like to be stagnant in life. So 13 just common traits of indigo children. Um, you definitely feel spiritually awakened. You were born to be a light worker, a healer, an energy worker. You are destined to be here on earth. We are confident in our missions here on earth. We know who we are and what we're supposed to do here. And definitely you get more information on that as you get older and educate yourself and surround yourself with the right people. So, and you have high expectations of yourself. Like, I will admit that I am very hard on myself. And if things are not working out, I go through that feeling of just ultimate failure. So, very high expectations. We always have puppies in the podcast. Um, you have a very strong intuition. So that goes back to being an empath. You feel everything around you. You can read the room. You can read a person just like that in 5 seconds and know everything about them. I often tell my clients, like, be prepared because I can literally peel your thought process, your energy, your subconscious away like an onion and see everything about you. So you question authority. I do not like authority. I do not like the government. I am not proud of my country. You will not see an American flag hanging out from my freaking door anytime soon. And like a lot of that we got from our parents that lived through the 60s. But yeah, we do not like authority and we don't trust it. So you want to overthrow the man, the government, the system. You want to overthrow it. You want it to be different. You want to change it and make it better because you know how just fucked up it is. And if you're like me and you study history, then you really know how fucked up it is. Um, you're very creative, so either art, music, writing, any kind of creative process, like taking stuff from other stuff and making amazing furniture, like whatever it is, you're very creative. And you're definitely a change maker. You want to change things, you want to shake things up. You are considered kind of like a lost soul, so you feel out of place with other people. And I definitely don't feel like it's very hard for me to live on Earth. I've said this in most of my podcasts, not because of Earth. Earth is amazing. It's the people of Earth, and we feel very out of place and very misunderstood. And people don't understand us. Like, I can't name the amount of times that I've been looked at, and just people are just like trying to size me up, but they can't because I'm completely different and I do not think like them. I do not act like them. And I do not subscribe to their like follow the sheep mentality. And this is what we have to do in life. So they can't figure me out and they do not like that. And because we're very headstrong, especially if you're a woman, men do not like that. So things are starting to change now a bit more with men, thankfully. But yeah, welcome to the female side of indigos. Um, you're very passionate, you're very focused on what you know you need to do, and you have a lot of psychic abilities. And so this is not just your typical psychic gifts, this is like you're attached to the universe, even. So you have all of the clair senses, of course. You're a medium, you can see and communicate with spirit. I am very connected to the Fae and elementals, obviously the universe and universal beings. I have contact with them on a regular basis, like actually have contact. Um, and you're often frustrated. So you can see the big picture of everything, and you know that big picture of everything. Your vision is not limited. You can see way beyond that into the future and the big picture. And so it often makes you very frustrated. So that is the indigo children. We started being born in the 70s, and here we are to piss you all off and shake things up. And then we get into the Avalon children, which they're a little bit different. They have a actual destination of where they came from, and I'll get into that. But they're descendants of the people of the island of Avalon, and which is associated with magic and healing and spiritual wisdom, and is also part of Celtic mythology and Merlin and King Arthur. And I'll get into that in a second too. But their characteristics, they have a very deep connection to nature and deep intuition, a strong sense of inner peace, and a natural ability to heal others. And their purpose is They're the guardians of ancient wisdom, and they're tasked with bringing balance and harmony to this world. And the island of Avalon was said to just be filled with like wild apple trees, grapevines, like all of these plants, this like vast ecosystem. Um, and they lived like a very harmonious life there. They didn't have to farm, everything was just growing there naturally. So the name Avalon is from a Celtic word Abel, which means apple. And they had very long lifespans. And there is a story, I'll just talk about it briefly. Like when King Arthur was mortally wounded, he was sent to the island of Avalon to heal, and it is said that he still resides there today and will come back to England when England needs him. Like he is still living today. But that's more of mythology, and I haven't quite delved into that when I've gone into the Akashic records, but that is one of the stories that come from Avalon. So these children started being born in around 2013, some before then, but they're obviously still being born. But they need to have one parent that's allowed this cultivation, this child to be born. So that parent has to have the ability to see through other dimensions. And that's not to say that they're the only thing that can see through dimensions. I can see through dimensions, other people can see through dimensions. So, yeah. Um, and they are of the fairies. And I have a lot of fae in me. I have a lot of elemental in me. So I am not an Avalon child, but had I had a child that survived and stayed on this earth, she is with the universal beings. She would have been more like an Avalon child. So I work very well with elementals, and um, I carry sprites with me. So I'm definitely connected to the fairy world. But they help bridge the gap between fairies and humans. So they walk between that mystic and the 3D all at one time. And just remember that time is not linear, it works like a spiral. The past, present, and future are all colliding together all at one time on a constant basis. So their mystical connection, these they're believed to be born. Now I've got a bird talking to me. They're believed to be born with inherent link to otherworldly nature of Avalon and allowing them to perceive and interact with the fairies and dwell there more readily than with ordinary humans. So they're literally straddling that line all the time. They're in between both worlds at all times. And they have unique abilities like visions, healing, um, obviously working with nature and healing ecosystems. So that just, they have their guardianship and they're being guarded by the Fae, by the fairies, by the elementals. And then once we get into the island of Avalon, this was a place which is now Glastonbury, England. And so if you've never been there, you will know it as soon as I show you the pictures. But um, it has a mystical history going back like centuries and centuries of time, and lots of spiritual energies there. A lot of people go there to meditate. It is the heart chakra of the earth. Um, you definitely can reach higher dimensions there and travel through dimensions there very easily. And So it draws a lot of like healers, energy workers, pilgrims, or just people that want to lay on the hill and just meditate and heal. It's a very healing place. So it's right on ley lines, which all of the chakras of the earth are. But there's also two springs that flow from nearby hills, and both have healing properties. And then you have also the Tower of Tor, and it used to be like a bigger building, but now you just see the tower. And that is where these children originate from. But I'll just show you really quick a map of the heart chakras around the world. And obviously, Glastonbury is right there. So Mount Shasta is one. Like you guys can look up this map and see all the different points, Mount Fuji, different places. So it's on the heart chakra. And that has a very important part to play in this story. So here are some different pictures of Glastonbury so that you know where I'm talking about. So this is the hill, and it has these spirals that go up the hill. And there's another view of it. And then you guys will recognize this tower. And yeah, those are back to my notes. But that is Glastonbury and Tor. And this is the place of Merlin. So Glastonbury used to be an island of Avalon, and it was fed by fresh water and from the surrounding hills, and then it began to fill in with reeds and shallower water slowly, and seawater filled in and started creating swamps, and then later it just formed into land, and so now it's not an island. But there's also on this, where this is an entrance to fairyland. So on the south side of Tor, more to the west, most of the people that know about this are the local people, but there's a path coming up along the southern side, and there's a thorn tree growing out from the side of the hill. And this is where the entrance to fairyland is. And this is what it looks like. So this is the roots of the thorn tree, and this is the entrance to fairyland. You get a lot of magical feelings from this place, and definitely any gifted person that goes to this place is going to be like, whoa, like, and wow, and you want to stay there. They also have another place that's nearby called White Spring, and you can see the spiral. In any place that has spirals, anybody that knows anything about spirals, they are portals. They're entrances and exits to portals. And you also walk the spirals if it's big enough to walk, because it's a clearing of your energy. You see spirals all over, like Native American pictographs and carvings and things like that as well. You see spirals depicted all over the world, all over the ancient world. So Avalon starseeds trace their roots to the enchanted sphere in the island of Avalon, and it's a very spiritual realm. And their calling is to elevate humanity towards spiritual enlightenment and the collective consciousness of that. And so they can command the elements, they can speak to them, and they can heal them. They can work with them. Don't be surprised if you see one of these children being able to call the wind, call the water, work with the water, shape the water, work with plants and all of nature and animals and call them to them. Like I said, like they were born of people like me that already have those abilities. So they can communicate actively with all of these things because they're literally within both realms at the same time. And they're connected to Merlin. Merlin is the alchemist that people think is a myth, but it is not a myth. And they're connected to Merlin because, yes, he was an alchemist. He worked with elements. So there, therefore, he worked with elementals as well. And he knew how to heal people with the elements. So now he's an ascended master, and I often call on Merlin when I'm having struggles in life. He's very helpful, and these children are descendants of those elemental beings, actually. So they're like elementals running around in human bodies. It's like you take the energy out of the elemental and put it in a new avatar into a human body. That's an Avalon child. And then we get into golden children. Um, they're children of the sun. They're highly advanced, extremely intelligent souls. They're incarnating, increasing on an like massive level on Earth right now. Babies being born right now. Most of them are golden children. Um, they have little or no personal like karma or bad negative energy attached to them. They have incredible gifts and intuitive abilities. Um, they're born with a very clear mission, and they remember it from the time of their birth as a baby. They know this mission. Um, they have unique intelligence, and they find themselves easily bored at school, and most have never incarnated on this earth. So they have none of that negative energy. Um, so they have to be supported in the right ways. They're and they struggle with physical life here on earth a lot. And they're often referred to as the new humans. So these babies, these children being born have it going on. So the complexity of these golden children, they're luminous beings, and they're not one dimensional. They are all dimensional, all at one time, encompassing them all at one time. Like I said, time is not linear. Um, they are intricate of constellations of light and shadow. And so, like other star seeds, they're the celestial counterparts. Golden children come with layers that get unveiled as they get older. And they hold the key to like more than what meets the eye, like wisdom above and beyond, and really vulnerable. So they definitely have to be guided, and their parents have to understand who they are. Um, they have like very intertwined and with universal beings and the universe. So they have like a specific birthright, I guess you could say. Um, so they are kind of descended from what they call the celestial kings. So a very old lineage within the Akashic records. Very, very old. So if you look at their family tree in the Akashic records, it reveals threads of like light extending back ages and ages and ages to what we call the Sun Kings and the Moon Queens. And they embody like a timeless bond between the cosmos and this earthly realm. So they have a lot of tranquility within them. Um, they, when you get around them, telling my dog to get out of the bird cage. When you get around them, you feel ultimately just serene and a stillness and just peacefulness. And they carry this inner peace with them. So when they go to traditional schools, they often don't do very good because they need to learn a lot more than what traditional schools teach. And they need to be taught about magical gifts, about energy work, about the universe, about universal beings, and they need that education. So they often get bored with school when they would be labeled like ADHD kids or autistic, all of these things like restless kids that can't sit still and those kinds of things. So they need a lot of love and a lot of acceptance and understanding. And so they definitely need special parents. And they have a very special bond with siblings if they have siblings. They're very connected to them, almost like a twin would be. So that their siblings are like infused part of their life. And their earthly journey, they're like in the process of embodying a human form, but they have a sacred journey. Their venture from the ethereal to the tangible is like a testament of how strong they are. So golden children live in higher dimensions, but at the same time, they're navigating this 3D world like a dance. And so they're seeing all of these things in different dimensions at the same time as living this life. And so, like, if I want to go to different dimensions, I go astral projecting out into other dimensions. They are literally living all of them all at one time. And there's a reason that a lot of women are having a hard time conceiving and having babies now. Like you're seeing it more and more in the news, and a lot of it is medical. I mean, people have been poisoned by governments all over the world, from the food we eat to the products we buy to the environment that they've poisoned. And so that's affected people getting pregnant, of course. But the universe is also making way for these children because they're the ones that are going to be here and be here to save and rebuild and teach. And you have to be a very special parent to have one of these children. So their total goal for life on this planet, if you can hear my bird in the back, he can hear me talking and he wants to get involved, um, is the essence of love and spreading that gentle touch and just peace and calmness. And that's what you feel when you get around them. So if you've ever held one of these babies, which I have, you can tell that they are special. You hold them and it's like, whoa, like you're literally holding a baby alien. That's what you're holding. And you can feel it radiating off of them. You can see it in their eyes. Their eyes even look different. So be aware of all these special children that have come into the world, you guys, because it is happening and this shift is happening. And that's why everything is so turbulent right now because the old system doesn't want this to happen. So be aware of it, embrace them, give them love and comfort. And, you know, even if you're an indigo child and you're an adult like me, you still have these gifts and you still recognize these things. So share the love, you guys. Stay in love and light and peace. Don't buy into that universal beings are coming here to attack us. Don't buy into, all these fake spacecraft that people have flying all around and trying to make another reason for people to be afraid. You do not need to be afraid. You need to be afraid of what humans are doing. So, peace out and love. And I will see you guys next podcast.